Howdy, folks, and welcome to T Lokes, your Tucson local business podcast. Today, we're doing something a little different. Okay, maybe not too different. I've done this a couple times before, but something we don't do often. And that is, we're doing a crossover episode with my other podcast, Connor Reads Books, for the first episode of the year, where I am reading a short story from the Unhelpful Encyclopedia series, a crowd-funded anthology fiction series that I got to voice and perform, edit, mix, and master to ACX specifications. So this is another aspect of some work that I do, and so I hope you enjoy me just reading to you. So kick back and relax and enjoy this crossover episode of T Lokes and Connor Reads Books. Connor Reads Books is an audiobook podcast primarily intended for adults. That being the case, some things I read may not be perfect for all ages or all listeners. Please take a look in the episode notes for content warnings and listen with care. Howdy, listener. My name's Connor, and I'm a voiceover artist. This is Connor Reads Books, an audiobook podcast where I read short stories from the public domain or short stories that I've been given permission to read by authors or publishers. If you like the stories I perform, please leave a review on whatever podcast player you're using. Or if you're an author who wants to get your short story read, find my contact info in the episode notes. Now, without further ado, let's get into the episode. Howdy, folks, and welcome to Connor Reads Books, and our first episode of 2025. Today, we are going to kick it off with the story Fangs Out, written by Victoria Dixon, and featured in the Unhelpful Encyclopedia series, Book 2, titled Murder Bugs. This might sound familiar. We've done some work with the Wonderbird Press and the Unhelpful Encyclopedia series before, with a big thank you to Mike Jack Stumbos, and thank you to the authors who have allowed me to share their stories on this podcast as well. And thank you, listener, for choosing Connor Reads Books, and for, sticking around and hearing me read. I appreciate that too. And speaking of me reading, let's get into it. Assassin Bug. Order, Hemiptera. Family, Reduviidae. Also known as wheel bugs, the assassin bugs are commonly recognized by their narrowed head capsules that make them look long-necked from above. But scientists should look out for the long, stinging proboscis tucked underneath. Fangs Out by Victoria Dixon. My name's A. Sin. Assassin Bug, private detective. I also act as a bodyguard for my best friend, Al Fid. His aphid nymphs hatched last week. With 89 babies, Fid can't come around anymore. Going out for drinks on my own makes the loneliness worse, but at least I've got work. Yesterday, Fid asked me to check his new property. There's supposed to be safeguards for all bugs living in a complex. But the portmanteau has a murder problem. 5 tenants dead in a week. Flying across town against the buffeting spring headwind and the SWAT-happy humans isn't fun. The gusts try to invert my black wings, and I can't see around my nose, though it's curled up. Still, I'm intrigued by the idea of a new apartment that doesn't double as my office. I need a home where I can leave the light on and attract other bugs. A chic apartment where friends will come, share a drink, and catch up, and cure my loneliness. I buzz past the cathedral's community garden before the portmanteau's brass hinges flash in the sunlight. The complex is a wood and leather chest, surrounded on one side by the garden, and the others by the church and a compost heap. Prime hunting grounds lie within a short walk or flight. Swanky with a capital S. It's perfect. Catch a killer and find a roommate. Piece of cicada. Time to play the role of eager new tenant. The business manager's office is located on the upper floor within the trunk's drawer. The drawer is divided into several rooms and halls. When I knock, a praying mantis answers and looms over me. She's more intimidating than the mantis in the church's community garden. If she's as voracious as Father Lyle Mantis, my culprit list just expanded. Never trust a mantis, especially not the females.
Good morning.
She extends a foreleg, claw closed.
I'm Candace, the business manager.
I wave hello with my antennae so I don't have to shake her hairy leg. My name's Sin. I'm interested in renting. Do you require predators to sign a non-consumption contract? NCCs require carnivores not to eat or attack other bugs within the premises. Contracts won't stop every predator out there, but most of us take them seriously. No bug in his right mind wants the shield bug squad called inside. The smell does not come out. Bottom line, NCCs allow us to live in places like this. Candace turns to speak to someone in her office. The area behind her is blocked off into wood-paneled cubicles. She's quiet, but I hear,
Assassin bug.
"Good," the unseen insect says with an odd clicking sound.
He's no threat to me.
Peering around, Candace's thick, green body would suggest she's been eating too much. No one ticks off a praying mantis, so I don't peek, but I want to meet the owner of that silky voice.
Let's look at Unit 1, Mr. Sin, was it?
Candace says to me, shutting the office door. Just Sin, thanks. Was that another manager?
She's the widow in number 4, but she works in the office.
Are there other tenants?
A caterpillar in number 3. She's very sweet.
I bet she will be. You probably chose her for the taste. Candace'll have a nasty surprise if she thinks I'm next. So, the widow...
She and I have a partnership of sorts.
Like what? I have to admit, I'm only half listening as we go down to the first floor. Below the drawer, the portmanteau's divided into 4 apartments. The halls glisten with new wallpaper.
I handle the business transactions. You know, the money.
Does she handle housekeeping?
In a manner of speaking.
Candace smiles, and I mean to probe further. But when she opens number 1, my wings buzz and shimmer with excitement. The place is amazing with high coffered ceilings and vast rooms. I'm proud of Fid and how hard he works to support his family. I'll help him, but more than that, I've got to live here. Apartment 1 has 2 large bedrooms off a huge living space and a cozy eating area. Chewed double doorways lead outside for personal access. A tiny herb garden lines each patio. Made for parties. I imagine the place buzzing with every bug imaginable. Perfect for 2 bachelors, if I can find a roommate. Not everyone has standards, let alone contracts. Father Lyle will tell you he doesn't eat his flock, but no one knows who his flock is, so that's meaningless. Crossing the room, I check out the lacy, blowing cobweb curtains by the patio. Not too sticky, but I might look for a new fabric at the cotton ball. I wouldn't want small bugs to get stuck when they visit me. First things first, I wouldn't want potential friends to get murdered either. Is Candace the killer or complicit? She's a female mantis, so she's guilty of betraying her husband, if nothing else. Either way, I need to lock myself inside with a murderer. I'll take it. My paranoia cringes when Candace smirks. She gives me an apartment lease agreement to sign. There is no non-consumption contract. Moving my leftover smoothie storage containers and my feather bed doesn't take long. I lock my door behind me, eager to find friends and fill the place with laughter. Who knows? I could have a small hive of drinking buddies soon. The hallway wallpaper is a beautiful lacy pattern with a meaty new glue odor. The paper glistens like fine silk. It's even on the ceiling. Click, click, click. It's the sound I heard in the office. But the hall's empty, except for strings of green glowing fungus lights. If I didn't expect to find bodies, it would be pretty. The noise fades, so I make my way toward number 3, my caterpillar neighbor's door, and hope they're not afraid of assassin bugs. It's an exhausting professional hazard. I knock and the door swings open, unlocked. Father Lyle holds a twitching pale green caterpillar as it dies. I knew it was a mantis. I hadn't expected him, though. Father, step away from the bug. I level my proboscis at him until a bead of venom gathers.
She was a caterpillar, Detective.
He lays her still form on the floor and rises to tower over me.
Her name was Mariposa.
Member of your flock, I'm sure.
She was afraid yesterday when she came to see me.
His head is bowed, and he raises his forelegs as if to bless Mariposa's remains. Afraid of what?
She couldn't say, but I promised I'd check on her. You and I keep losing our friends.
This chills me more than I can say. He knows Fid, too.
Fid's fine. He sent me a message this morning.
My proboscis does not waver.
There's more than one way to lose them.
He sounds so defeated. It did not occur to me that Father might miss Fid, too.
Last time we spoke was at his wedding. You?
Same. 2 weeks. Feels like I've been alone for a year. I don't want to believe Father Lyle's innocent. After all, the last time we talked, he threatened to kill me. But this murder isn't his M.O. He rips apart his meals, but bright green blood flows from 2 tiny puncture wounds in Mariposa's middle. I've seen too many identical fang marks from all kinds of bugs. No way the wound can identify the culprit, but it rules him out. I grind my mandibles. We all eat, but the meal shouldn't be people who believe in us. I'll pass on the praying mantis smoothie, for now. The venom bead is reabsorbed and my proboscis curls. The murderer has to be close, I say. Did you see anything? Was the door open?
No, and yes.
Father fingers the door.
It wasn't forced.
The business manager is another mantis, a female.
We're not evil, Detective.
You're all hungry. Leave while you can.
You'll need my help.
My antennae quiver as he follows me into the phosphorescent green hallway. The lights make his sage tones brighter while they gleam off my black wings. The last thing I need is to get trapped in a hall between 2 mantises. Look, there's a widow in number 4. If you want to help me, see if she's all right. I'll question the manager. He glares down at me for a moment before muttering,
"Watch your back."
Father follows the hall in the opposite direction. There's something about him I missed, but what? I climb the wall toward the office drawer. The wallpaper looks stickier by the cubicles ahead, and the meaty glue scent is a perfume eliciting all sorts of hunger. It makes my jaws ache as I get closer. My antennae sizzle when I touch it, and my leg sticks. The building isn't a friend magnet. It's a honey trap. I spit on the wallpaper, and it dissolves, releasing me. But now I know it's not wallpaper or glue. It's spider silk, laced with pheromones. Designed to draw in males for mating, but also to capture meals, like the dying tenants. Is Candace just complicit then? Where's the spider? Then it hits me. The widow in number 4. She's not some lonely old bug. I've put Father Lyle in terrible danger, all because I assumed the praying mantis was the murderer. I brush the office door with a wing, but stop, bristling at the clicking, scuttling sound behind the door. I think Father's in luck, and I'm not. The widow is working today. Steps behind me in the hall.
"Watch out!"
Father shouts when he rounds the corner. I dodge. A green claw scrapes the wall. I stumble closer to Father as Candace advances. Her claw trails webbing. Despite her attempt on my head, she doesn't look at me. She stares at Father, who trembles in the opening between the halls.
"Candace."
His pale green carapace is as white as a molten. His forelegs wave.
How are you?
You know her? I'm shaken from the close call, but not as much as he is. Is she a member of his flock?
Darling,
Candace says to father.
haven't you told your friend about us?
Her words flow down the hall like a sweet, perfumed river threatening to carry me away. Father Lyle's eyes are unfocused and confused, like he's trapped in a fog. The scent confuses me, even though she's not my type. It takes me a moment to understand. Candace is his ex-wife. He ran away from her once, but he's not running now. She sways toward him, beautiful and deadly.
Lyle, tell your friend we'd like to be alone.
Her compulsion's so strong, I struggle not to leave. Father Lyle opens his mouth, and I can't let him do this when he just saved me. Father, fight her!
He doesn't want to fight. We love each other.
She caresses his face, and I can't bear Father's agonized, lonely expression. I know what that look feels like. I wear it every day. I've got to get her away from Father. I'll have to risk a pheromone attack, and there's the widow in the office. I might have killed us. Father Lyle touches her cheek.
I miss you. I'm so lonely. Where have you been?
Candace sounds sincere.
In the community garden. Come live with me.
Father sounds so hopeful, but he just gave away his sanctuary. He's endangered everyone on Cabbage Row, but he can't think of anything but her. I rub my legs, hoping to get his attention. You have your flock. You have me. Father smiles at his murderous wife, tears in his eyes. This is why I distrust mantises. Meals should not be bugs who believe in us. I shove Candace aside and jump between them. Proboscis unfurled. I force her down the hall. Click. The sound comes from behind the office door, but I ignore it. I've got to protect Father from Candace.
Sin?
Father's voice shakes. I hope he's out of the pheromone fog. Stay away, Father. She's trying to trap you again. He sobs once, and it breaks my heart to hear him say,
I know.
Click, click. The office door opens behind me.
Lyle and I belong together, assassin.
Candace steps back, her eyes widening.
Mrs. Black!
Click, click, click. Click! Mrs. Black bowls me over, her breath stinking of dead caterpillars and rotten persimmons. Fangs out. Legs on either side and a huge red and black abdomen pinning me. No! Father jumps on her and rips into the widow's left eyes. He's not stopping to eat. He's protecting me. The Black Widow bucks to crush Father against the ceiling. He sticks to the webbing, but shouts, Save yourselves! Candace snatches me around my thorax, crushing a leg.
This is your fault!
She squeezes, and I scream. Behind Candace, the widow clicks her fangs at Father. Save him! I gasp. Candace's grasp eases as she glances at her ex. If you ever loved him, stop the widow, Candace. I'll get Father. Candace drops me, flies at the widow, and knocks her backwards.
What are you doing?
The widow rolls and rights herself.
We had an agreement.
Change of heart,
Candace says. I wheeze. She broke one of my legs, and pain blurs my vision. I soar to the ceiling and aim at the silk binding Father.
Sin.
Father struggles against the webbing, watching Candace.
Help her.
You first. I spit, and the webbing loosens. The widow scuttles toward Candace. I can save Father future pain. Let the widow kill Candace. How much did her heart change? How much is mine? I fall behind Candace and whisper as I climb her back. I'll protect you and Father if you swear to never eat my friend.
Deal.
She grabs and swings me toward the widow's blind left side. I stab, inject my venom, and stab again. That afternoon, I told Fid that the business manager cooked the books, and a tenant cooked the other residents. Candace escaped. For Father's sake, I hid their personal history. Fid let me break the rent agreement and sold the place. the portmanteau is a dance hall now. It took me 2 days, but I found a less posh apartment on 5th and Turnip Row. Sure, it's a tool shed, and privacy is at a premium, but there's plenty of communal space. 2 carrot rows away from my office. A longer commute for my new roomie. I sit on my leather-gloved sofa and sigh with contentment, though my leg and middle still ache. Overhead, the window is tinged with orange sunset. We'll be snug here. Father Lyle bows his head to get beneath the T-square doorway. Among other groceries, there's a Scotch pine beetle cocoon in his arms for making my favorite drink.
Sin, I felt like celebrating, so the flock's coming over. The Fids said they'll bring a housewarming gift. Would you like a scotch?
Nothing would make me happier.
If you like this story and you're interested in hearing more of the Murder Bugs or Murder Birds series, go ahead and check out the episode notes, and there will be links for Wonderbird Press, their Patreon there, their Kickstarter. You'll also find links to Victoria Dixon's socials, so if you like this story, you love the writing, go ahead and reach out to her and let her know. I'm sure she'd love to hear. Thank you all so much for listening. Again, if you liked this episode, please leave a review. It takes a couple moments, but it really goes a long way and helps other people find this show as well. Also, you can follow me on my social medias. I'm more active on Instagram. You can find me at LConnorVoice. And I'll put links to my Instagram in the show notes as well, so you can go ahead and check those out and get in contact with me if you want to see some more of the content that I'm creating. Well, with that all being said, thank you so much for tuning into this episode. I'm really excited to bring you more short stories and a lot more fun as this year continues. And until next we turn the page, toodaloo.